She's been named one of the 100 hottest women in the world by Men's Magazine. Millions of little boys had her hanging on their walls back in the 1970s as she was one of the world's most iconic Sports Illustrated swimsuit models. She's appeared in countless magazines, movies, and media appearances throughout her illustrious career. She is renowned for her good looks and for helping other women to look great by having her own clothing line, which was extremely successful. Her work in fashion also helped her earn a Time magazine cover. By now, you ought to know who it is. Today's guest is the legendary Cheryl Tiegs.
Hello. Thank you for all those nice words.
You're welcome. I didn't know you had a Time magazine cover.
I've been on the cover of Time 4 times.
Really?
Yeah, but the one I'm most proud of is the cover story, which is really hard because they're focusing on you. And there was, the article inside was on
What was this? When was this? Or what was it about?
me. It was about me.
I know it was about you. It was about
Well-
Beverly Johnson. What was like the...
I had reached a pinnacle in my career, and they just wanted to write about why and how and what did you do to get there. And it was flattering. It was very difficult, though, being the cover story. They comb your life. They go back into the archives. And
So,
there was nothing. I was nervous about it, but it was very positive.
that's pretty cool. And I mean, not only have you been on Time magazine, you also have 2 paintings by Andy Warhol of yourself.
I do.
Most people get one. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You got 2
he was the friend, and so you've seen the one
at your house.
Yeah, with Time magazine, and he triptych, and he just painted all over it, which was really nice, and put his hand marks on it, and that's my favorite. And then the other is the portrait that is very common that
Right.
people have.
Which he actually did for a lot of people that weren't famous at the time too, just social people and whatnot, which is interesting because, like my friend Gloria Lushing has one painted of her, not as valuable obviously as one of yours because people know who you are. Whereas I'm saying like, Gloria's a gorgeous woman, but someone's not going to pay millions of dollars to have a person they don't know portrait in their house.
They do. They come from Texas and say, Andy, well, here's a lot of money. Will you paint my portrait?
No, I'm saying the resale. It does. No one's going to buy a
Oh,
painting.
the resale.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
why would you want a painting of a stranger in your house?
Yeah.
But that's really cool.
So he gave it to me. Of course, he did 4. There were always 4 portraits in different colors, and so he gave me one. The other 2 are in the Philadelphia Museum.
On loan?
No, it's the Andy Warhol
Foundation.
Museum.
But they're yours, right?
No, I only own one. It's in my hallway.
Right.
And then the other 2, because he did 4. He always did a set of
Right.
4. So 2 of them are in the museum.
We should steal the other ones and bring them back to your house.
They're amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Are they-
just different colors.
Oh my God, that is so cool. Okay, so you obviously look amazing. What is your secret?
My secret is love, laughter, hiking, eating really well, glass of wine at night.
That's my secret too.
Yeah, well, I'm very into de-stressing. I meditate.
I can't figure that out, the meditating thing. I keep trying. It ain't working.
Well, I lie down and meditate, and I put my hands on my knees, and I don't move an eyelash for a half an hour. Once you're in that position, you cannot move, and so even if something itches or
Don't you fall asleep?
sometimes I do. I don't care.
So how is that meditating? It's the same as going to sleep and just closing your eyes.
Sometimes I do, but for the most part, I don't.
And you just lie on the floor in your bedroom, or
You just it just calms your mind like nothing else, really. It just sometimes I lie down and I'm just buzzing with activity and things to do and blah 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 and computer And if I lie down, I know at the end of that half an hour, I'm going to be as calm as can be. It's amazing how it just works on its own. You just let the thoughts fly in and out, let them do whatever they want to do, and then your mind eventually is very calm. Try it. But lie down. I find sitting up in this lotus position rather uncomfortable. So.
Rather uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I try it in my shower. I have a seat in there, and I just try to do it in there, but it just doesn't work. No.
Well, that's kind of interesting. I've never heard of that.
Why not? I have 20 minutes to kill. I might as well try it in there.
I think that's actually a very interesting idea. Very, because the electrons, what do you call them? Not electrons.
Water.
Yeah, but when water hits something else, it explodes with not molecules. I'll think of it tonight when I'm meditating.
When you're meditating in the shower. So, what are your New Year's resolutions?
I make the same resolution every year,
Okay.
which is to exercise more, do a little something every day. Every year I make that, and every year I don't follow it. I don't know why I keep, it's like insanity. I keep making the same resolution because that's what I want,
Right.
but I don't do it.
Well, that's okay. At least you said you did it, or tried at least.
I work out, but there are days that go by where
Do you work out at home,
hmm
or do you go to a gym or whatever?
No, 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 no. I work out at home. I have a trainer come to my house, or I go for a walk around the park.
Which park? Holmby Park?
Comstock.
Oh, don't you get mobbed by people?
No.
No? Well, everyone knows your face. I'm surprised.
When people are busy going about what they're there for, even Disneyland, I can walk through Disneyland, because people are there seeing everything else and having fun and grabbing little Johnny. And they're not really focused on, a celebrity walking through.
What about when you walk down like Rodeo or you walk through Neiman Marcus?
Well, we're talking about Beverly Hills and Hollywood, that.
Yeah, people don't stop celebrities here.
No.
Okay, when you go to Milwaukee, I mean, like what?
Or going through an airport, you just keep your head down. But most people are so nice. They're so sweet. So,
But there must be like I find regular when I'm in New York, I can't. It's they're always stopping me. Whereas in Los Angeles, very rarely, unless I'm going down a touristy location.
they stop you in New York?
Always, I don't know why. I think because people in LA are afraid that they think it's tacky. Like, I mean, it's just weird to. They don't want to seem like the tourist. Whereas in New York, you don't expect to see somebody from LA. It's not as common.
Right. But isn't it $1 million listings? Isn't that in LA? Is it LA or New York?
It's everywhere.
Well, I know. I just got back from
Oh,
England.
there is a New York. Yes, there is a New York.
$1 million, yeah.
Franchise there. Yes, but well, I don't know.
Yours is out here.
Yeah, well, we film it out here, but it's shown everywhere. But yes, the answer is I don't know. I think people in LA are just immune to it.
I just got back from England, and I sat there every day watching your show. I watched you.
Really?
Yes, you and I were in
Oh,
England.
we were in England together. Did we stay at the Dorchester? I hope.
No, I was out in the English countryside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You like the English countryside?
My son lives out there. I like it wherever he is.
Oh, when did you get back?
Last week, a couple days ago. Yeah.
Does your son like the show? Did he watch it?
Oh yeah, he loves the show.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh yeah.
How old is he?
He's 28.
He's 28. Where did he go to school?
NYU.
And in LA before?
Harvard Westlake, and then he went to Switzerland to a boarding school. He begged to go.
Who begs to go to a boarding school?
He loved. It was Aiglon in the Swiss Alps. I mean, he loved it. Loved it.
How did he even hear about that? That's so
Well, his father went, and Cecilia Peck, his father's sister, went. So it was like a family tradition.
Gregory would be his grandfather?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Gregory Peck?
Oh.
Well, I don't know if he died before your marriage.
No. I knew the Peck. They're still my family. I was very close to Greg and Veronique Peck. Veronique was one of my best friends, and who's the grandmother of my son.
And then Tony Peck is your ex-husband. No?
Yes.
I see you're not that close with him.
You should have seen the look I gave you.
The silence spoke volumes. Okay, so you're probably most famous for being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, wouldn't you think? Even more so than Time.
Yeah, yeah. I lived a lot of my modeling career in a bathing suit. And I was thinking the other day, I'm so used to going down to the Caribbean, the Bahamas, the places with the white sand and the blue water, and I haven't been there for a while, and I miss it.
You mean from film shoots or from shots, you mean?
Yeah,
So why don't you
yeah.
go to Hawaii? Well, even that
Oh, I
doesn't.
will. I mean, I can get on a plane and go down, but it's
Or you could just go to your house because it's like Bali.
right.
You have the most amazing house. I mean, I think it's such an interesting house. It's like when you bought it, it was probably like a mid-century Hawaiian modern, I'm going to assume. And then you
Yes.
turned it. So you just literally, did you just take all the ceilings out to do that?
I took when you walked in, the ceilings were very low. It was mid-century, and
I'm talking about the living room. I mean, it's.
yeah, the living room. And then I just was in the attic one day and took out the low ceilings.
You were in the attic one day and took out the ceiling?
Well, no, I said to the architect, I said, $1,500, and one day later, all those ceilings were gone.
That's it?
And then you've seen it. I mean, we have this huge 35-foot Balinese living room. I just got an offer.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you an escrow?
Oh, no, we haven't gotten that far. But ladies and gentlemen, Josh has helped me along the way so much, held my hand because it was a difficult decision and gave me advice. And you really were there for me when I was, I'm doing this alone and it's scary.
Well,
and so,
where are we going to move to, though?
yeah, I know. Oh, I don't know.
Well, what do you want?
I don't want a lot of neighbors and noise.
You want to go to a building?
I don't want a chihuahua that's barking next door. I've had so many experiences. You know what's interesting about my life is that I've met the most amazing people. I think I've met every president. Unfortunately, I've met our current president.
Oh, God. Where?
I know.
Where and how and why?
I walked away from that. Oof, God.
Wait, where were you? In Mar-a-Lago or something?
No, I'm in New York.
Like, but this is before he was president?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't as bad before he was president. I guess it was. No, I mean, like, people didn't realize.
It was as bad.
What
Yeah.
restaurant were you in?
No, he was giving a party for the Art of the Deal, and I walked into this party, in the Trump Tower, the bottom floor, and he hands me a book and he said, "It's already on the bestseller list." Well, I opened up the New York Times the next morning, looked at the book review. It wasn't even mentioned.
But see, most people wouldn't think to look at the list and see it. They would just believe him because who would think of something so outlandish to say?
Well, I was wondering, how could it be on the bestseller list so fast? And it wasn't.
And I bet he signed it for you and you didn't even want it.
Oh, I don't know what happened to that, but let's not spend another second.
Oh, that's the night you didn't have firewood and you needed something to start the fire? The book you used that, right? To start the fire? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to the White House before?
Yes. I was there with Jimmy Carter. I was there with
Reagan.
The Reagans.
Well, you probably knew the Reagans because they were in
Yeah.
that. I mean, they were friends with Bloomingdale's and that whole clique right there.
Well, that wasn't my clique, but the Reagans were my neighbors.
Yeah, sure, on St. Cloud.
Yeah.
But usually people in that location don't know each other. It's not like you come over for a cup of sugar.
No, but my dog, my Labrador, I would get a phone call from the
president?
secret police. And
the Secret Service.
Secret Service, I'm sorry. And they'd say, "Cheryl, your dog is in our pool again." Somehow he made his way down. And
the dog went swimming at the Reagans?
At the Reagans all the time.
Wow. Yeah. Smart dog. He was trying to get into politics.
They couldn't have been nicer. I like the Reagans.
So your house was done. When did you do your house?
I did it about 20 years ago.
That's crazy. It looks not.
Yeah.
That doesn't look. I mean, I've been there for dinner parties. It's timeless.
Yeah, you were just over at my house, what,
Yeah,
a
we had
month ago or something like
2
that?
minutes ago. Project Angel Food.
Yes.
We had a very. It was like 20 people. It was a nice dinner.
Yeah. Made a lot of money that night. We made 26,000 for Project Angel Food.
That's right.
I just finished your book,
Really?
which yeah, oh my. It's so great. Um your about your grandmother
Right.
and what she did. She lived during the war, World War II. Well, of course, you know that. I'm telling the audience. Um, but she was out and about, Anne Frank, of course, was confined.
Correct.
So this was a different kind of
Totally different perspective.
perspective on what was going on. I don't. I was living in fear myself because of how the president is mismanaging everything. And so I was in a fearful state. And then I read this book about your grandmother and how brave she was. She was running all over us, helping hide people and bringing them across borders and doing all kinds of things that, to me, that's a hero. I don't know if I would have been that brave. I might have wanted to have crawled in a closet, but she didn't. And she helped people, and very impressive.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting character.
Lucky you to have had her
Right?
so close to you.
Yeah, we were good for each other. She's yeah, she was an amazing story. You just finished the book?
Uh, uh, I read it in England, and then I brought it
You were on a
home.
Josh Flag kick in
I
England, huh?
know.
Did you do anything interesting? So you're all right, tell me, how did you get to Hollywood?
Oh,
Well,
I was
clearly on a plane, but I mean, how did you get into the business?
no, I was born on a farm in Minnesota, and those were great roots for me to always have when I'm on an airplane and I'm landing in Los Angeles. All I want to do is put on my hiking boots and go have my feet on the ground. So anyway, I grew up in Alhambra, California, and which is right next to Pasadena. Nobody knows where Alhambra is, and my girlfriend next door kept saying, "You should be a model. You should be a model." And I thought she was crazy. I thought these girls were from another planet. And a small town agent just said, came to our girls group and spoke. And he said, "Why don't you come up and see me sometime?" He said that to 11 out of 12 girls. So I was not a shining star. I was not, and I was the only one who came up. I went up and saw him, and that's how I started. And I started doing jobs for free. And I started, how you start out in
My
life.
husband was a model, and he started also. I think
Your
he's.
husband was a model?
Oh yeah,
Oh, look at you. He must be cute.
he's very attractive. He was shot for Vogue. What was the Arthur Elrod? Not Arthur Elrod.
Arthur Elgore.
Not a. Yes, exactly.
He's a famous photographer.
I didn't know until, but he did photographs of him in Palm Springs, and I just for Bobby's birthday, I called up the studio and I had him sign some original photographs. I have them now. Really good photos. So Arthur L. Gore, and then another what Tony. Um,
Spinelli?
no,
No.
he lived in Bel Air on Bel Air Road. Tony Duran? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, when he started, he used to do like stuff at Walmart, and then later down the line, he was doing like Calvin Klein and things like that,
Right. Right.
or Versace.
You start out small.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to be grateful.
Uh-huh.
You have to show up on time. There are just certain rules of how to take those steps forward.
But there's a lot of beautiful girls. What did you do differently? Like, there's lots of beautiful girls. Is it you did something different? Is it something that you were in the right place at the right time? Is it just you just were strikingly beautiful?
I'm telling you, it's hard because you've got to have the right nose, the right eyes, the right feet, the right hands. And when everything is one package. And when you model, um, everything has to be right at the same time. The hand has to be everything is posed. And um, someone said that they wanted to hire me, and they were hesitant because they didn't know how to tell me how to model. And the photographer said, "Don't worry, she just does it. I do my own thing," which you have to learn how to do at a certain point. So I loved modeling. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't wake up in the morning, show someone a house, and then, go sit by the pool. And, I mean, it's hard work. And I think you have to realize it's a big business. It's not, it's not all glamorous. And I mean, it's tough.
Waking up at 4 in the morning for.
I would wake up at 3:30 for Sports Illustrated, having stolen a banana the night before, so I would have that for breakfast, and in the dark, and I would hold the flashlight in my teeth so the hairdresser could see what he was doing in the dark, because we'd be in the, Seychelles, where there's no generator, there's no lights or anything.
Wait, they didn't know to bring lighting equipment?
There was no electricity. There was nothing.
Well, how can they photograph you then?
No, so what you do this all in the dark, and then you get in the car, you drive an hour to the location so that you're there when the sun is just starting to rise.
Right.
So that means, that's the 3:30, in the morning hour, and then you work all day. There's flies, there's sand, there's, it's there's wind. It's not easy, and you have to have a lot of patience. And you finish after sunset. You wait for that last glow. Um,
And they feed you egg whites at lunch or something stupid.
you get home at 11, wash your hair, and you have to start at 3:30 again.
And then sometimes you have to get in the cold water in the ocean probably in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, it's not easy. I think patience really is the tip that I would give. Um, because everybody's picking at you too. That come over and doing whatever they do. But it does have its glamour, and it does have its.
What was your first big gig, and what was the moment that you realized I arrived? Like, this isn't me. I can't, like, going to the Met Gala or going to the Met Ball or something like that, where you're there and you're like, oh my God, this is not happening.
No, I'm not a party girl. I didn't. I would go to the Met and have a wonderful time, but I I think when I was on the cover of Time, that was my life changer. I
Was that
thought
before or after Sports Illustrated?
that was probably after. This was in 1978, March 10th, I think, 1978. I was on the cover of Time, the All American Model. But that's when I knew, okay, I
This is
can
not
put
just a thing. This
I
is
can
gonna.
put my feet up and rest on my laurels the rest of my life if I choose, because I had done it. There's no further place I could go. So
Who are, like, in your opinion, the top models of today?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know their names.
Really? What about like Gigi Hadid or Bella Hadid or any of these people? Okay. Well, I guess you do know their names. So what acting have you done?
Oh yeah, right. I was in that movie with John C. Riley, and I was in a Vincent Gallo did a movie called Brown Bunny, and there were only three. Chloe Savini, there were only three females in the entire movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I just, yeah, so I did that. I'm not an actress though, so if somebody calls and says, "Do I want to play myself in a movie?" I say, "Okay," but that's about it. I did moonlighting. I did a lot of TV,
What shows?
moonlighting, and Just Shoot Me. Oh, I forget. Just cameos.
Have you ever been interviewed by who have you been interviewed by? I'm assuming Barbara Walters. Like,
Everybody, everybody, and it's I find it very easy to be interviewed by you because you're my friend and we just talk,
It's relaxing.
Yeah. I remember one time I was on the Merv Griffin show. He
Really?
he used to have me on the show all the time. And why I don't know, but
Well, he certainly wasn't interested in you sexually. We know that.
so one day, and he turned to me once in front of the audience and he said, "Cheryl, I hear that you're painfully shy." Well, I thought, oh my God, how do I handle that? Because I am painfully shy. I was at the time, and extremely shy. And of course, the audience is waiting for me to answer, but being shy, I didn't know. So it was kind of an awkward moment for me, but I forget what I said. But he kept having me on. Johnny Carson, I was on his show,
But if you were so shy, they like people that are funny. Like, how do they pull out the humor in you then?
I don't think they did.
You were just like, why do they keep bringing me back?
I really wondered that, but I think I was America's sweetheart.
Right.
And I think they found comfort in that. And no, it's not as if I was, telling a joke a minute, that's for
But
sure.
if you're shy, how do you become a successful model? Don't you have to have that, like that chutzpah, like that?
A little bit, but I would give my all when I was working, and I always had a book. And if we were traveling to location, I would just pull out the book and read it in the back. And I was always very quiet.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
You're not quiet anymore.
No, I've finally found my own and I can handle myself. But at the time I was, which is,
Was there a moment where what made you come out of your shell?
I'll tell you what made me come out. I worked with a group of my entourage, for Sears, for 10 years, 80s to 90. And I just felt I could say whatever I wanted. I wouldn't be judged. They didn't want anything from me. They just were there and supportive. And I finally learned how to tell a story, how to just open up and be myself. Isn't that interesting? So it took me 10 years, but I felt very confident and then went on from
That
there.
was when, in the 80s, the 90s, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the loves in your lives, your husbands. Tell me,
Oh,
you
Josh.
gotta tell. Let's spill the beans. So who was the best husband? Who was the best in bed? Who was the best at everything? I mean, who was? I mean, Peter Beard for sure.
I can say that the most passionate I've ever been about somebody other than my son is Peter Beard. And
Okay.
we were not good together. I mean, he was bipolar, so it was a very difficult relationship. But I loved him so deeply that I can only be grateful that I had that in my life. We got divorced because I couldn't handle the bipolar. I mean, 4 or 5 days, he would just be screaming around New York, and maybe not coming home at night and all that,
What do you mean
just
screaming around New York?
just wild he was out of control, just wild
Like
with.
yelling in the streets? What do you mean?
No, don't take me literally.
Well, what do you mean screaming in New York?
Going to Studio 54, going out to
Oh, he was.
parties, going to, just bouncing off the walls. And then he would go dip down into the depression side of bipolar. And that's the side I like the most. I didn't know it was bipolar. I'd never heard of it before. So,
So when
uh,
were you with him and he was happy and not out and partying? Or
when he
never?
when he was depressed, no, and he would hold me, and we'd lie in bed. We'd go for picnics. We lived on the beach,
Where?
Montauk.
Oh, I didn't know you lived in Montauk,
I had a house there for many years. Yeah.
but not full time.
I had a house.
But you would go
Oh, I
between.
see. Yeah, I went back and forth, back and forth. We also lived in Africa,
Really?
which I
Where
love.
in Tanzania?
Kenya, East Africa, which is we'd could drive to Tanzania.
Why were you living in
He
Kenya?
has a ranch there.
Oh, what happened to the ranch?
I don't know. He's elderly now, so I don't think he really goes to the ranch. It was called Hog Ranch, and we lived in big tents with four-poster beds and wooden floors and chests of drawers and everything. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
English
not a,
colonial, like really old English colonial.
yeah,
Not
like a Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, exactly. Not like a teepee.
Right.
Wait, that's so interesting. When was the last time you talked to him?
And we would see the giraffe float. We'd leave the flaps open. We would see the giraffe float by. Um, the warthogs in the morning would come and eat their corn or whatever. I mean, it was and then we'd go out all day stalking the animals to photograph. And it's pretty amazing. You know, at that time, there were no cell phones. So if we got stuck in the mud or you can't just get out and walk home because there are animals out there just dying to eat you. So it was
So what do
pretty,
you do?
well, we never got stuck in the mud.
Oh, luckily. Wait, so what was the last time you talked to Peter Beard?
I saw him the night of my son's graduation from NYU, which was maybe 8 or 10 years ago. And I looked at this man and I thought, wow, he's handsome. And he looked at me and I said, Peter? And it was Peter. And I ran up to him and I said, I'm sorry for anything that I did that hurt you. I said, I loved you very much. And I was very
So you hadn't
passionate.
talked to him in all those years? Wait, but what was he doing at your son's graduation?
No, it was a restaurant. It was at Nobu on 57th Street.
Does he have a place in New York?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so interesting. So you just looked at him and you're like, oh my God, I was married to him.
Yeah.
How long were you guys together?
We were together about 8 years, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you basically one day came home and was like, I can't do this anymore, and then that was it?
Yeah. I mean, he just was out of control, out of his own control. And we went to therapy, and I just said, that's it. Bipolar is bigger than me. I don't know how to handle it or deal with it. So we got a divorce. And that's it. We didn't speak.
So who was your first husband?
Oh, Stan Dragati, who is in advertising. He was a big shot on Madison Avenue, which is all advertising, and lovely man. Love a good man.
Sounds boring.
That's
Sounds utterly boring. I'm looking at your facial expressions. Usually when
yeah.
says, such a nice man, that's really all that they have to say about the person.
Yeah, it just after a while it just got to be too boring, and it's
Yeah.
a shame because I didn't know how to shake up
Right.
the relationship, and so we split, but remained friends.
And so the second was Tony Peck.
The second was Peter Beard, and then there was Tony Pack.
And what was that like, marrying into like a Hollywood royalty family?
Well, I really focused on our relationship, not that it was anything famous or whatever, and that was very complicated. But I knew him 30 years.
Prior?
No, I just knew him in my life 30 years. I knew him after Peter, and we lived together, and then eventually we got married, and then we had a child, and then we got divorced, but we remained friends. And then one day he just shut the door on me and our relationship because he had met somebody else. Well, I was happy for him. I don't.
Wait, but while you were married to him?
No, we got divorced. You missed that part.
Oh, so you get divorced. So what does he care? Why did he shut the door on you? Who cares? You're not married anymore.
Yeah, but I wanted to remain friends with him
No,
because
why would he care? Why wouldn't he just stay friends with you?
No, I don't know. He's the father of our son, so.
Definitely the wife. The new wife. Okay, so then you have Tony Peck, and then you have who's...
I can't even say his name. He just, he called himself, well, he was a yoga teacher.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Ah, And
Boy, how
he,
the mighty do fall. You start with Peter Beard, and then you go to a
oh, I
start with
know.
Peter Beard, and then you go to a yoga instructor.
Well, I thought at the time that it would be nice to have in my life someone who's spiritual and grounded and good to me and calm and all the things that you think
Sounds beyond boring.
oh, he was mean. He was by far the coldest person I have ever known. When we
Wow.
walked past each other in the hallway, we had to turn sideways, so we
Then why
didn't.
did you marry this
So we
man?
didn't touch each other. Well, this was after we got married. I think he snared me, and then he turned into this cold
Well,
person.
what did you like about him in the beginning?
I think sex.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't gonna say it. I mean, he must have been really good in bed.
Well, I think that's all our relationship was,
Well,
really.
definitely limber. It was in yoga, so.
Well, that's the thing is that he,
And you have those really tall ceilings in your house, so you could hang from the rafters.
right from the chandeliers and everything. So he,
Ugh.
uh,
I wish the audience could see her face right now. Wow. So, how long was that for?
that's the shortest marriage. I really wanted to remain friends with everyone, but,
I hope you
um,
got a prenup.
huh?
I hope you got a prenup.
Yeah, and with all these husbands, I've
Good
just
girl.
escaped. No, and I didn't have prenups. I just walked away.
You never had a prenup with any of these husbands? Even the
Mm-mm.
yoga teacher?
Mm-mm.
So now is he living
Well,
in Bel Air?
especially no, I gave him nothing.
Oh, wait. So you didn't have a prenup and they didn't want your money?
Hey,
That was nice of the guy, I guess.
he tried.
He tried. You got out of it.
He tried.
That's interesting. So that
You
was,
know,
were your friends like, what are you doing with this guy? Or did they actually like him?
I think they were probably thinking, "What are you doing with this guy?" But they didn't
Want to
say
say anything?
anything. And so I've been married 4 times. That just
We're done now, right?
we're done. And also, I'd say to my girlfriends, I kind of wanted the station wagon, the white picket fence, the two labradoodles, and but they said, "Are you kidding? We're living vicariously through you."
Let me ask you something. In your career, what was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened?
Well, I did go to the Met Ball one night in a gown from
Bill
Bill
Blass?
Blass. Yeah, it was Bill Blass, and it was so pretty. And then I got into the limo to go there, and the whole thing just
Collapsed?
popped in half. The top just it just caved. And so I went to the Met Ball with this white strapless gown pinned underneath my arms,
Uh,
and I would eat like,
oh, that's funny.
yeah, that was really. And Bill Blass was right at the next table.
Did you tell him?
I didn't tell him that it popped open.
Couldn't you
No,
immediately go back to the hotel and have the housekeeping just sew it quickly?
there's nothing to sew. It was a strapless dress. What am I
Oh,
going to sew it to?
your boobs.
Yeah, I think at that point I would have.
Well, that's not embarrassing because nothing happened. No one found out.
I don't think it was attractive that I was walking around like it was embarrassing for me. Um, I went to the Vanity Fair party, and in I think it was Randolph Duke, and it was very slippery fabric, and it was one shoulder. Jack Nicholson,
Sidney Poitier.
all these men were lined up and no one was looking at me. And I thought, I know all of you. Why aren't you saying hello? And Sean Penn came up and quickly went away. And a girl came running up to me, and my dress had slipped so that half of my upper body was showing.
Your tits.
One.
One tit. One tit. What's two tits? Two TT? Like a cactus? Cacti? What would you teat? So one teat was out. Wow. And nobody had the heart to tell you until
Well,
Sean.
then this girl came up and she said, "Pull your dress up." It had just, slid down. So
And no paparazzi caught it?
no, this is a Vanity Fair party, and there
Oh,
are
thank God. If it was on the red carpet, that would be the nightmare of all nightmares. What have your children taught you? Well, you only have one child. I just thought about that.
Yeah, I have one child, and because he's kind of from a different era, he just has a different view of things. And I think he's very smart. He has a great sense of humor. I don't know. It's just being around children, I think, is life enhancing. It just changes your life. Being around dogs changes your life.
How old were you when you had your kid?
I was 40.
Oh, wow.
43.
That's interesting. My
Yeah.
dad was 42. My mom was 37. When you first moved to Los Angeles, where did you live?
The first house I bought was 455 Stradella. We bought it for, I think, 425,000,
1972?
probably.
Jesus. Why did you sell that house?
Well, I left the marriage,
He kept the house?
and he kept living in the house, yes, um, and so he lived there for quite a long time, and then he sold it for $4 million.
Well, probably in the 80s.
Yeah,
Where did you move to?
into Peter Beard's arms.
So you moved to Kenya. And then after Kenya, you came back to LA?
No, I was in Kenya, and I lived between Kenya and New York. I still had a career.
In Montauk or in the city?
Both. I had an apartment in
Where?
New York, 76th and Park.
Not a shabby address.
Oh my God, it was the sexiest
Is it
apartment.
co-op?
It was 2 floors.
Oh, this is a
And
major apartment.
The bedrooms were upstairs, and downstairs was the living area, and it was all one color.
What color?
It was like a gray blue flannel. It
Who
was
did
so
it? Was it a famous decorator?
No, she's
Dead.
I don't know where she is these days. But men loved it. It had padded walls and
Was
everything.
it in a co-op, like a fancy co-op, or what was it a condo or a co-op? Was it a fancy building?
You're asking
I'm in real estate. What do you
real estate. I know.
What do you expect from me? You should be lucky that I have only covered real estate for 2 minutes during this interview. If you were going to New York today, where would you stay?
Other than you mean a hotel, I like the Mark.
Really?
Yeah, don't you?
Honestly, I like the Carlisle much better.
I like the Carlisle.
And the only reason I stay at the Carlisle, I wouldn't stay at the Carlisle. I don't really like that location, but I just love the Carlisle.
I love the location.
Well,
The streets are very wide uptown.
yeah, but what are you doing up there? There's not much. I mean, you can go to Townhouse, the gay bar. There's not really much to do up there.
Do
but go
you
to
like
Belmont's.
downtown?
I hate downtown.
Well,
If you can't smell the horse shit from Central Park, I don't want to be there.
where would you stay?
Well, in the good days, I would say the Pierre, but that's not really anymore. I would say the Carlisle. I would say the Four Seasons. I would say
I like the Four Seasons.
I like the Four Seasons. Not the St. Regis. I don't like that hotel.
No. The problem with the St. Regis is that they pick up the garbage at 4 in the morning, and you can hear the...
Isn't that everywhere in New York?
Yeah, but it's the only rooms they have.
We're on street level?
Yeah, we're
facing out.
facing on 55th Street, I think.
57? No, it is 50. You're right, 55th, I think. Right across from the
And they
peninsula.
pick up the garbage and wake me up. So
I would say the Pierre, because of location-wise, if they would redo it again, I mean, what a great location. What an iconic building.
Oh, I lived at the Sherry Netherland for a while.
Love the Sherry Netherland.
Yeah.
Who did you live with at the Sherry Netherland?
Everybody.
Okay. Please tell us.
No, because I was single at the time.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was like
You were very popular.
it was
A rotating door?
rotating door. Yeah.
Lovely. Hey, you know what? When you got it, you got it. And you get to have Cipriani for dinner, too.
I know.
Sounds like my dream. What year was you? What year were you living in the Sherry?
That was right after. I don't know.
Wait, did you own an apartment there?
No, but I had a friend, Dick Richards, who had an apartment, and so I would always rent the same one. And so I knew it very well, and it was like, a little bit of home.
What a great place to that. You've had such a charmed, interesting life.
I know.
You're very lucky.
But if I write a book, how much of my life should I tell?
Everything. Otherwise, the book's not interesting.
I just finished Elton John's book, and he was very honest, which is what I liked about the book. He took drugs. He was a mess. He drank too much. He did, and then he got up and out of it, and how he did it, and I found it very interesting.
Okay, philanthropy work. What's your deal? What's
you
your cause?
you tell me.
Well, we both are very involved with Project Angel Food.
Yeah.
As well as Charo. She's very involved too.
Well, Project Angel Food, for all of you good people out there, it's to deliver food to homebound, not homeless,
Homebound.
but people who can't get out. And it started with the people who had AIDS and couldn't get out of their homes. And Marianne Williamson started it so that we deliver millions, like 4 million a year, something like that.
How did you get involved with it?
Richard Ayub.
Oh, but how did you know Richard?
I met him at a party, and he just, how.
But I mean, it's funny. Bobby was involved with it before I was, but I was hosting something or whatever, and he got me into it too.
Yeah. It's an amazing program, and they from San Diego, I think, up to almost Sacramento. I'm not sure, but I mean, they deliver enough food for 1 week for these people, and sometimes when they deliver the food, it's the only time these people see someone else because they're homebound. So it's an amazing program. I just think this, life is good, and I practice mindfulness, which is being grateful or being aware of your surroundings and being very still. I like to read. I've got a couple of boyfriends.
Okay.
And
always good to have a choice.
Yeah, we have a good time.
I'm sure.
I have to remember what stories I've told to each
right?
one.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You have to keep your story straight.
I know.
Do you guys go out? Where do you like to eat? Where do you go out for dinner?
I make one thing, which is roast chicken. That is
out of this world.
It.
Who told me that? Somebody told me that you make a really good roast chicken.
People call and they say, I'm jonesing for your roast chicken, so I have to make another one and eat another one, which is fine with me. I don't mind. It's very easy.
Is it your recipe, or you just found it years ago? What is it?
I don't know. I just make it, and I don't know.
What's it made of? Chicken, clearly. But
I just turn the oven up so high, and I leave it in an hour and a half, so that the skin is like so crisp.
That's so important to me. I love the crispy skin.
Yeah, and then
I'm not a white meat person either. I love like the dark meat. What do you season it with? Or what's the special Cheryl Tiegs secret?
Salt and pepper, and then you put in lemon, and you put in rosemary and sage. It's very simple. I mean, and you forget about it for an hour and a half and just let it. Gets a little dry every once in a while.
So if you're not eating your roast chicken,
where do I go?
Like, where are you going for dinner tonight?
Oh, I'm going to watch the State of the Union.
But you're going to need to eat, and you're not going to eat
at home.
You're going to eat your roast chicken?
No, I could order a Scala salad or something.
Oh, that's cute.
That. Yeah, I'm alone tonight.
Did they Postmate it up to the house?
Mm-hmm. Although I don't want to give Postmate a rave review.
Okay, tell us how you no go.
By the time they finally make it to your house, it's soggy and.
Well, that's the problem with La Scala salad. It's great, but 20 minutes later, that's it. But I hope you tell them to put the dressing on the side.
Oh yeah, they do.
I mean, it still gets soggy though.
And then tomorrow night I'm going to watch The Bachelor.
And what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat while you watch The Bachelor? I'm very into where you're gonna go. What are you gonna watch? What are you gonna eat tomorrow night?
I'm at home. I have a house guest tomorrow night.
Oh, a house guest. Is that what they
Yes.
call it these days? Mm. Is he staying 20 minutes or 3 days? Well, it depends how long.
No, it's a female. I mean,
Well, I mean,
you're not
everyone
going
has
to
a
get a
first
guy.
time.
You're not going to get a guy to watch The Bachelor.
Well, it depends if you award him the right way. How about the Bel Air Hotel? Do you ever go down there for dinner?
I lived there.
You lived in the hotel?
Mm-hmm. I lived there.
Oh, that goes back. So wait, after you sold Bel Air Stradella, where did you go?
I also lived at the Carlisle for a year. A ton of money. Oh my God.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
I
why?
spent 3 days there and it was a ton of money.
I know. Why I didn't rent an apartment, I don't know, but I lived there for a year. I lived in the Bel Air Hotel because my house needed work under construction. You know what I've done, and I might do tonight, is call up the Bel Air,
Get a
tell them
cheeseburger.
a cheeseburger,
And a side of Nancy Reagan chopped salad.
yes, and some French fries,
Ooh.
and Bob's your uncle.
I love it. What time am I coming over?
Yeah, I know. Doesn't that sound good? And
They have a great burger there,
I
by the
just
way.
drive up, roll down the window, and I use the Bel Air Hotel as my,
I get butter from the Beverly Hills Hotel when I run out at the house. We send my housekeeper down there. It's closer.
You're kidding.
No.
They give you a tub of butter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're so funny.
You know Alex Hitz?
Now, where do you live?
I live right behind the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Oh. No, so, I mean, we're very fortunate, Josh, you and I. I mean, we are.
From the Bel Air Hotel, then you moved into your house?
Well, I've lived in my house for 20 years, so
Where were you between Stradella and your current house?
New York.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you in New York?
That's when I was with Peter.
So 10 years? 8 years?
I was in New York 20 years.
Really? Okay, I was trying to do the numbers because you were in the 70s, you were in on Stradella, and I couldn't figure it out. So you were in New York for 20 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that.
And I was there at a time when I was single-ish.
Oh, wait, were you there? Wait, hold on. Were you there in the 70s?
Well,
I mean, were you there during the Studio 54 days?
Yes.
Or the Nikki Haskell show days?
yeah, I was. And I did New York every which way, upside down, left, right. I mean,
Are you
just.
being literal? Oh.
And
Well, you did something right. If you could land 4 husbands, you're doing something right.
it was fun. I have no
And you left
complaints.
all of them. None of them left you,
No.
which means that, well,
Anyway, I don't have any complaints. Some regrets. Maybe I could have done something different. I don't know. But
well, what's next for you besides La Scala tonight?
um, are you going to watch the State of the Union?
That's what's next for you?
Well, as I said, I've been writing about my life, but really they're just kind of short stories. So I'm wondering if I want to do the traditional format where I was raised on a farm in Minnesota, or whether I want to just tell these little vignettes, these little stories.
I think if you have really super interesting stories over the years, vignettes can be very interesting, or you do the traditional, I was born on a farm and now I live in Bel Air story.
I don't think I want to do that. And I want to just remember funny and.
Or you put everything down, you send it to a publisher with a treatment, and you let them come back with their comments, and they'll just tell you, we want it this way, or the same old thing that everybody else has done. What makes your story more special? I think that they're going to just do a book just because it's you anyway, regardless.
And so therefore I have to make the decision. So let me just keep writing and see what.
What chapter of your life are you on?
No, they're just little vignettes.
You just write the little stories. Do you type them or you actually write them?
I type them on my iPad.
Always push save. just in case.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm not a computer person, but I would be really upset if my computer shut off. Or is that not a thing from today? I don't. That was in high school. Maybe it automatically opens up when you.
Well, I have everything backed up. It backs up every 20 minutes, I think.
You might lose some really important 20 minutes, though. You may have just lost some very important 20 minutes, and you might not remember the story. Who was it? I was interviewing Carol Connors. Do you know Carol Connors?
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me that she was sleeping one night and she had an aha moment and knew the tune to write for a movie. And she went back to bed and she forgot it and never remembered it again.
Oh, no.
That could have changed history. Could have been another Rocky.
I do my best writing when I turn out the light and I put my head on the pillow at night. All of a sudden, it's brilliant what comes out.
Yeah, then you don't remember in the morning.
Never remember.
That's the point. That's
Never
why.
remember.
What about in the shower? I really get lots of thoughts in the shower. Do you have a bench in your shower?
Yeah.
Or seat?
Yeah.
Do you ever sit in it and think?
No.
You should try it, and you should start taking notes in there on a waterproof pad.
Yeah. I'll see what I don't like showers. Isn't that interesting?
You don't look smelly. You look great.
No, I take baths.
Really?
Or I take a shower.
It's too time consuming to get in, sit there, get out.
You know why I don't like them is that I have long hair and it
Put a
just
shower cap on.
well, no, and then I want to wash it and everything gets tangled. It's just not my favorite thing. But I do it.
Well, I would say this has been a successful podcast because we usually go about an hour and we're at 90 minutes, an hour and a half.
You're kidding. I missed my lunchtime.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to have for lunch?
My houseman just went out to the grocery store, so I imagine the refrigerator will be full of goodies.
Well, what do you like to shop? Bristol Farms?
I rarely go shopping.
Where does he go?
I'm a very simple eater. Give me a grilled lamb chop and I'm happy.
I love lamb chops.
I know. Oh, we had them that night at my house, you and me.
Was it lamb chops?
And you picked them up. You were the one who said, I'm going to eat them with, they were little tiny, lollipops.
You have such a good memory. Yeah, most people like want to cut it. Just, come on, just pick it up. That's,
That was so good.
They were delicious. Who catered that evening? Oh, they were made by Project Angel Food, weren't they?
No, they had someone come in. But Josh and I sat next to each other.
And ate lamb chops.
Mine is Moustache back in the day.
Oh,
With the rack of lamb.
Oh, they closed Moustache.
Oh.
Remember the chocolate souffles?
Oh, God.
Do you remember La Masia?
Yeah.
Spanish restaurant. It was so good. I don't know why that came into my head. Okay.
Remember Orso's?
Never was a fan of Orso.
Loved Orso. Are
Yeah.
you kidding? You sit out in the garden and eat Italian food?
Bistro
on.
Gardens.
They're not there anymore.
No.
No.
There's some restaurants that are no longer around.
Right.
Or Trader Vic's.
Oh my God.
Trader Vic's.
Those big tubs of drinks.
The
with-
Scorpion Bowl.
Yeah. Flowers all over and big straws.
Uh-huh. Oh, I wish they had restaurants like they still do. I mean, they just don't anymore.
Yeah. Where do you go? What do you.
I love La Dolce Vita.
Oh, really? Well,
Mhm.
that's a one from the past.
I know. I'm trying to keep. There's not so many around still. La Dolce Vita. I like Matsuhisa. Nobu and Malibu. Medeo.
I go out to restaurants all the time by myself. Do you?
No.
I do. I do. I bring a book or I set up my iPad and I'm so happy.
And then somebody will walk in and say, "Oh, Cheryl, how are you?" Yeah.
Leave me alone.
That's funny.
I see Steve Martin out a lot in
Really?
restaurants by himself.
Like what kind of restaurants?
I don't know, but I'll just kind of pass by without saying hello, even though I know him, because I think, if you're eating by yourself, you don't want to be disturbed.
Does he see you? Make eye contact?
If he does, I'll wave hello or something.
It's cute.
Yeah.
All right. I adore you. That was fun. That was a long one.
Oh, I gotta go eat.
All right.
On that note,
The legendary Cheryl Tiegs.